Hey everyone, this is Byron again. I'm here to testify for Jesus Christ. I'm going to cover a dream I had this morning. I actually woke up really early, did a couple things, had a little breakfast, went back to sleep, and had this dream after breakfast this morning. Today is June the 5th of 2022, and I'm going to label this Withstanding the Giants. In this particular dream, I was sitting across from someone who, for many years, has been identified as Jezebel to me. It goes all the way back to, I forgot exactly when I did the video. Maybe I'll put it on the screen for you. It's called Woman Stripped Naked. It goes way back, way back. Anyway, this particular person was doing a recommendation for me. Oh, you need to do this. You need to go. You need to be a part of this, etc. And I was diametrically opposed to it. And not only was I just opposed to me going to it, I also was withstanding these other people, basically telling them don't go to it, just because Jezebel was recommending it. Now, just a point on Jezebel, another point, this was represented by a lady in the dream. However, I've also mentioned the Jezebel revelation is Freemasonry. So it was in a big mall common area, like kind of like a food court in a mall, but there was seats for people to sit and watch as if they were watching people on a stage, kind of like an amphitheater type thing, or maybe a fashion show would be set up there. So they were there ready to do the thing. I just happened to notice in an elevator there were people hiding from going to the meeting in the elevator. I thought that was unique. But anyway, as the meeting neared, as someone was about to come up on stage and begin to talk, I was yelling out across a barrier. It was like a railing with a curtain attached to it. You could see well over it. But anyway, I was yelling over that to the people on the other side. And one guy in particular, he opposed me. He told me that, you need to stop. You need to be quiet. And it got kind of heated there, back and forth. We were separated. And we determined that we were going to meet. And he's like, well, I'll meet you over here. And we went down the rail to the end of the rail. And he ended up having to come through a doorway that had a curtain. And as he came through the doorway, he made sure the curtain stayed covering him as long as possible as he walked basically under the curtain or pushed the curtain up. And by the time he came to me, he was like 4 or 5 feet taller than me. He was a giant. I was like looking at him like that. I never once faltered, never once let up anything. I withstood him to the face, as Paul says he did Peter. Ended up the giant backed down and walked off. And I shared that dream. It was very encouraging to me. I woke with a kind of like fired up, hey, what's in front of me, whatever it is, I'm going to do what I got to do. And I wanted to encourage you too, because as David withstood Goliath, or David stood up against Goliath, David had faith that God was going to deal with the situation, and God did. And we can be the same way. And I believe God was showing me, Byron, in the modern time, in this day and age, you and those people who are listening need to know, withstand the giants. And a giant doesn't have to be tall in stature. A giant can be whatever it is that comes along in your path that causes you to think, oh my goodness, I don't know if I'm capable. Well, forget that. By faith, all these people in Hebrews 11 did all this kind of stuff. And David slew Goliath. So we can do the same thing here in these times. That's it, man. Roger out. See you.